Okay, I've just pressed record. So, are you a full-time van lifer or caravan lifer?
Yes, absolutely. That I used to live in a house. I used to live in a house, but the, the COVID got me and me wife divorced.
Oh,
So
really?
when I started doing the protests and stuff, she kicked me out.
Shit.
But yes, the irony of it is she didn't want the police coming to the house, and then once she kicked me out, they turned up more at the house looking for me than they ever did when I lived there. So
All
it
right.
didn't really work for her.
So, I guess caravan life is quite cheap, though, right?
Um, no, no,
It's not.
it's cheaper. It's cheaper than. It's about the same as renting a room in a house.
Why is that?
So, because you got to pay the rent on the plot. You got so the rent on the plot's about 150 a week.
Okay. So,
It's a big caravan. It's not a little caravan. It's a static, a mobile, yeah, a static home. Like you'd find at Pontins or something.
because I know some people who do van life and they just park on the side of the road. I mean, are you not up for that?
Oh no, no, no. I've got electricity and running water. You know what I mean?
Okay.
It's like a little bungalow. It's like a little bungalow. It's great for me, and I've got a little field outside for my dogs to run around in. So yeah, it's really
Okay.
good. I'm enjoying it. I've been here for about 3 years now.
You see, I'm currently renting in Leeds, and I'm paying really a lot of rent. And sometimes I think about doing what you're doing or the van life thing because obviously I'm paying council tax, I'm paying all these bills, and I know people keep telling me you shouldn't be paying those bills, and I'm just, I'm every month I'm wasting like 850 quid. I'm like, that's a lot of money. I could buy a fucking laptop every month with that.
Yeah, yeah, it is a lot of money. But the thing is, I'm not one of those subscribers for not paying your bills. Over the last 4 years, I've been to at least five houses that have been repossessed, and the families ended up homeless. Where we've been there to try and stop the bailiffs, but then they just come back when you're not there and they repossess the house. So
All right.
yeah, I've not seen it work once. I've not seen it work once.
So you pay council tax, do you?
No, I'm lucky because the ground rent is the council tax is included.
I see. I see. Okay. I've got
You
like
just pay for the plot.
you pay for the plot, right? I've got like some questions and stuff, but feel free to just go off any direction you want. It's not like a proper interview or anything. Um,
Where's it gonna be? Where will I find it on YouTube?
I'll put it on YouTube. The only thing I was a bit worried about was like because the stuff we're going to be talking about is a bit sort of spicy. It, it,
Okay.
it might. Um, I mean, it will definitely be on Odyssey and BitChute, and I will put it on YouTube. But I wonder whether that starts to get shadow banned if you're talking about what you're going to be talking about. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah. I got kicked off of YouTube fucking years ago. So I got no Facebook, no YouTube, just
I
on
mean,
Telegram.
well, I've got a YouTube, and I've noticed that recently YouTube have been a bit more relaxed in like what you can talk about, the C word and the V word, um, but you can get away with it
Right.
now.
Yeah.
They seem to do it. They seem to be letting you talk about it, but then they kind of shadow ban it. That's what I've sort of seen because they've let David Icke back on YouTube and things like that.
Yeah, yeah. I've seen that, but they're gonna let David Icke back on because he's gonna generate a massive amount of income for.
Right? Are you a David Icke fan?
Yeah, I like David Icke. I like David Icke. Met him a couple of times. I'm of the belief that whether David Icke knows it or not, I think he's a lovely guy, you know. But whether he knows it or not, they created the cartoon character of David Icke back in the late '80s, and then they use him to discredit any alternative belief. So let's say, for argument's sake, we're going to get onto this in a minute, but let's say, for argument's sake, you're going to have a giant rally in London, and you're going to you're the government, and you're going to allow these people to have a stage in your city, big giant screens, massive speakers. None of that happens unless they want it to happen.
Mm-hmm.
But they know that the press are going to be there. So what they do is they have all these speakers on. They have doctors. They have all sorts. And then they have David Icke come on and say, don't take the snake oil.
Mm-hmm.
What gets from the BBC? A doctor saying it or David Icke saying it?
Mm-hmm.
Only David Icke. David Icke, a clip of David Icke being an anti snake oil, and that's it. You know that. And then everyone else says, oh, but isn't David Icke the guy who said he was Jesus? Isn't David Icke the guy who says the Queen's a reptile? And it discredits us, or it discredits the movement. I can't say it discredits us because I was exactly the same. They used me in exactly the same way because my channel on YouTube and Facebook everywhere is called Mad Mick's Conspiracies. So as opposed to a mix of mad conspiracies, which is what it's for, I become Mad Mix. So they use a mad conspiracy theorist. So whenever the BBC got where I was, it was always mad conspiracy theorists. And that discredits us. They're not going to put a doctor on the BBC, you know, saying don't do this and don't do that. They're only going to put lunatics and conspiracy theorists on, or their version of lunatics and conspiracy theorists.
Yeah, I mean, they did it with Matt Letizia too. They always they frame people in a certain way. But do you think David Icke is just a genuine guy who has been sort of used as he's a genuine guy?
Absolutely they use him. But I think he is a genuine bloke. But it's very hard to say because, you know, you can never know somebody. I've met him at events, you know, and I've shook his hand, and I've been on his son's channel. But does that mean I know him? Does that mean I know who's paying his bills? No, I can't know. You know, like you can't know me. I can't know you. We take a chance and we do what feels right to us at the time, you know. And if like I spoke to someone the other day who's got a following, and they were invited onto Iconic, David Icke's son's channel, and I said, if you want to get your message out, if you want to reach people, you'll only reach people like us, you know. Normies don't subscribe to Iconic, you know, only conspiracy theorists do. And so you'll be speaking to the choir. Always you're speaking to the choir. And that's what I've found with these things. Like me and you will do this. You know, you've done loads of podcasts. I've done loads of podcasts. The only people that see them are, you know, the people in our community. Mm-hmm. So we don't reach anyone like we did back in the old days, you know, when we was doing the yellow boards, when we was doing the roundabouts, when we was desperate to get a message out. But now the message has been filtered down into next to nothing. People don't even read the yellow boards now. They just look at yellow boards and think, oh, anti-vaxxers, and drive on, you know. But we do what we can. But people, like, I've given up. I'll be honest with you, I've given up. I don't anymore. I don't try and convince anyone. I still do my daily vlog on Telegram, where literally I'm just bitching about everyone. I bitch about everybody. Mm-hmm. And probably after this, I'll bitch about you.
Go ahead, mate. That's fine. I mean, I can't wait for someone to do an expose on me. But, you know, they haven't done it yet because I'm not, you know, no one gives a shit.
They're great fun, aren't they? I've had them done on me once because I wore an orange T-shirt to a protest. So that's where it started. I was a Freemason because I was wearing orange. I didn't know, so I just swapped over to pink.
Right, so then people were saying, truthers were saying that you were a Freemason or something.
At the beginning, because I wore an orange T-shirt. It had the same slogan on, strong and pretty, but it was bright orange. So I'm like, all right, is pink all right? I say to people, is pink okay? Has anyone got a problem with pink? They say, oh, well, you might be looked at as gay. I'm like, gay I can live with. Freemason I can't.
Mm-hmm. So in 2020 April, right?
Yes.
I'm guessing you said you were married, right? So can you remember what happened for you around that time? Were you already awake? Were you ready, like prepared for what was going to happen, or did that like blow your mind and wake you up?
No, no, it didn't wake me up. It blindsided me. Like it blindsided me. I started my Mad Mix Conspiracies YouTube channel in 2017.
Oh,
Um,
right. So you were
I'd
already.
been ill. I was in a wheelchair. I've been a conspiracy theorist since David Icke, really. You know, and before my first visit to Egypt made me a conspiracy theorist when I was in my early 20s. But so I started my YouTube channel just to talk about conspiracies. I love all conspiracies. You know, fake terror, 7/7, 9/11,
Mhm.
JFK, moon landings, flat Earth, you name it. And I made videos about it. And it was a very modest channel. It was a very modest channel. I think it took me over a year to get my first 1,000 subscribers. And then by the time the COVID happened, I was only up to 4,000 subscribers. So it was a very small channel.
That's a
And
lot, actually. 4,000's a lot. I mean, depends how you look at it, I suppose.
yeah, it wasn't enough to buy a cup of tea.
No, no, it doesn't
I
pay very
mean,
well.
it didn't pay at all. It didn't pay at all. And because, like I say, I had been ill and I was unemployed. Well, I was disabled, and I thought, oh, this might be a way of earning a living. You know, I had heard people could make money out of YouTube. Like 3 years in, I hadn't made a penny, not a penny. You know, and I was doing lots of videos. Anyway, I digress. And so when the COVID first got announced, I made videos about it. I was out there, you know, I'm like, listen, this is all rubbish. Ignore it. Nothing's going to happen. It's the same as bird flu. It's the same as SARS. It's the same as swine flu. It's going to come. It's going to be a flash in the pan. It's going to go. And then I, I comes home one day to check the football results, and all the games have been cancelled. I'm like, what's going on here? And it proper sideswiped me. And then by the end of that week, we were in full lockdown. I'm like, where did that come from? I did not see that coming. You know,
Mm.
for a conspiracy theorist, it completely caught me out.
Mm. Mm. Yeah, I mean, me too. I mean, to be honest, that single incident and then the following year was probably the biggest sort of thing in my entire life in terms of I just could not believe what I was seeing in terms of my friends and my family and just the wider world. I'm like, whatever you want to say about this virus, even if it is the Black Plague, you can't tell me that I'm on house arrest and I've got a social distance. I'm a single guy. I'm living on my own. Do you not think that's bad for my mental health? And people are like, oh yeah, it's bad, but you know, we're still going to do it. Or do you
Yeah,
not
yeah,
think it's
yeah.
bad? Do you not think it's bad for all these like single mothers with say 4 kids living in a council estate? Do you not think that's a problem? Oh no, yeah, yeah, probably is probably a problem, but we're still gonna lock you down, and we're still gonna support all this. And I couldn't
Absolutely.
believe it. I just could not believe it.
You know what I learned, right? Like, in all my years as a conspiracy theorist, I believed that the government and the overlords were enemy. And then they're just the ones that drip feed information. The people are the enemy. The people that grass you up to the old bill for walking your dog, they're the enemy. The people that come up to you in the supermarket because you're not wearing a mask, shouting, "Oh, you're gonna kill us! You're gonna kill us!" But I'm like, who are you people? I realized that it's mankind was the problem.
Mm,
You can manipulate anybody to do anything, and these people are geniuses at it. Like they've got think tanks. They've been doing this stuff for years, and then they just turn man against man, brother against brother, like in your own family, brother against sister, parents against children. It was genius. I've never seen anything like it. I've lost contact with one of my sisters and her entire family. Like, you know, me nieces and nephews, all the babies that are being born on that side of the family, completely gone because of 2020. You know, and my stance on it, what I chose to do. You know, because I'm not one for following orders. I couldn't follow orders from day one, and from day one I tried to point out to everyone else like yourself that these orders were ridiculous, were pointless. And then when the snake oil come out and everyone's like, oh, you've got to get it to protect Granny. I'm like, well, don't go and visit Granny. It's simple. You're not protecting her. Don't go and visit her. If you're worried you're going to give her the flu, don't go. But oh no, we got to have 6 injections to protect Granny. And I realised that the people in power are always going to do what they're going to do. They're always going to screw, the serfs, the peasants, which are us. But it's us that stab each other in the back. It's us that are that quick to follow these ridiculous rules and then carry on like the world's ending. I'm like, oh, I'm done. I'm done with people.
Like, I did psychology at uni, right? And one of the most famous psychological experiments was the Milgram experiment. And it's where, like, they got people to give electric shocks to people. Like, they got, like, a guy, like, dressed up as in a white uniform, like an authority figure, and they as part of the experiment, they had to give, like, electric shocks to somebody.
Separated by a screen, the teacher would ask the learner questions in a word game and administer an electric shock when the answer was incorrect. He was told to increase the voltage with each wrong answer.
Cloud, horse, rock, house. Answer. Wrong. 150 volts. Answer, horse.
Experiment, that's all. Get me out of here. Get me out of here, please.
Continue, please. Go right on.
I refuse to go on. Let me out.
Refuses to go on.
The experiment requires you continue, teacher. Please continue.
Participants didn't know that the learner was really an actor and the so-called shocks harmless.
You're gonna get a shock. 180 volts.
I can't stand the pain. Let me out of here.
Can't stand it. I'm not gonna kill that man in there. I mean, who's gonna take the responsibility if anything happens to that gentleman?
I'm responsible for anything that happens here. Continue, please.
All right, next one, slow. Walk, dance, truck, music.
Two-thirds of volunteers were prepared to administer a potentially fatal electric shock when encouraged to do so by what they perceived as a legitimate authority figure. In this case, a man in a white coat.
375 volts.
And it was something like 95% that went up to the top amount of volts. And, they just because an authority figure was telling them to give electric shocks, they, like, almost everybody went the full way, right? And, like, the thing is, because I did psychology, I know that, and I told my mum, what is the point of sending me to uni, learning about psychology, and I know about this, I'm telling you this, and you're still not going to do anything about it? Like, what is the point of it all? It's like, we've got all this knowledge, like, about psychology. And there was a prison study as well, where they got people into a fake
I like
prison.
the prison one. I saw the prison one.
Yeah, and that was Zimbardo, I think, and basically after 2 weeks they had to stop the experiment because the guards were being so abusive to the prisoners.
On the first day, I said, this is not going to work. I mean, the guards felt awkward giving orders, and they'd say, okay, line up, repeat your numbers, and the prisoners start giggling.
Hey, I don't want anybody laughing. 3, 2, 1.
And then a very interesting thing happened. Dave Eshelman, who the prisoners named John Wayne, like he's a Wild West cowboy, he begins to be more extreme.
I decided that I would become the worst, most intimidating, cruel prison guard that I could possibly be.
I want to see in the future that you do work when you're told. Say it again. Say bless you, correction officer.
I was sort of fascinated myself that people were believing the act, and I was trying to see how far I could take it before somebody would say, okay, that's enough, stop.
Yeah.
But it's like, we know all this stuff about psychology, and then when it actually happens, we're just repeating history, and then everyone's just doesn't notice.
That was the ridiculousness about it, and I mean, some good came of it in a way, because what happened is we met people that were thinking the same as us. Like, I had spent my entire life as in my family, oh, don't get Mick started. He's a mad conspiracy theorist. Don't get him started. And then all of a sudden we were meeting people that thought like we thought. And then, like say, some people, it just opened their eyes to what was going on, and they literally just stuck their head in the rabbit hole. and they were looking towards people like me for information and which direction to look in. Not that I know anything. I'm like, you know, which is why my channel became super popular in those days. People wanted to know what direction to look in. You know, where can we find the truth? I'm like, well, the truth is subjective. You know, I can't tell you what the truth is, but I can tell you where to start looking. You know, and then once people started looking, then we realized that there's a lot of us. There was a lot of us, you know, in the millions, which before I never knew that, you know. I knew that a lot of people went to watch David Icke's lectures. You know, the guy could charge £100 and talk to, you know, an auditorium full of people for 6 hours. And there was people that went, and he's wrote so many books, and he's become a millionaire out of being a conspiracy theorist. But the COVID kind of showed us that there was a lot more of us. And we actually got out there on the street, you know, and we did our stand in the park. And we met people in our local areas. And we became a little bit of a community. I mean, the community's gone now. It's completely fragmented. We'll get onto that when we talk about the digital ID. But the community's gone. And it's been fragmented. And because of the way I know, and you will obviously know, having done psychology, because of the way I know how the government operate, I can see what's unfolding. And I can see how people that we thought were like us are not like us. You know, they're just sheep wearing different jumpers, you know, but they're still sheep. They're still following the government agents around London. You know, the same government agents that they followed in 2020, they're following them now. The same government agents that can put giant stages outside the BBC and giant stages in Parliament Square. It's the same government agents that they're following.
Okay, so this is when we get into the shills. The thing is, I know that like some people don't like talking about shills because it's like causing division in the movement. But the thing is, if there are shills, then they are the ones causing division in the movement. It's not like people, you know, speculating about whether they are undercover police or informants or whatever. This is the problem, because I hear that a lot. It's like, why are you causing division? And I'm like, I'm not. It's just that I've seen this person's acting a bit weird, and historically, protest movements have had undercover police in them, haven't they, over the years?
They have to have, because the enemy is smarter than us. The enemy knew the war was coming before the war came, right? We didn't, but they did. And they had all their players in place. The only way to beat the opposition is to lead the opposition. And they had all their players in place from day one, right? And so when their players were putting out posts saying we're all going to march in London and we're all going to come together, only the posts that they wanted spread on social media got spread on social media. They control it all. So you wonder why someone like Rose Diamond can get, back in those days, 100,000 people, because her posts were being seen by everybody. Every anti-vaxxer was seeing her posts. And that doesn't happen by accident. No one sees my posts. No one sees your posts, but everyone was seeing her posts, right? And I followed her around London 3 times. And then I thought, well, I'm done with this. I'm done with this. I'm not going to walk around this route allowed by the police. So what happened? I told people on my channel, I said, I'm done. I'm not doing it. It's great to meet people. It's great to meet, you know, other people in our community, like-minded people, but I'm not following these idiots around London anymore. And they said to me, people on my channel, so I can't claim any credit for any of this. They said to me, Mick, you've got a channel. I said, it needs to be done during the week and you just need to block London off. End of story. And they're like, Mick, you've got a channel. You arrange it. You do it. And I'm like, I thought about it for a little while and I'm like, okay, we got the date. It was one of the days when Boris Johnson was making one of his live lockdown announcements. I said, right, what we'll do, we'll go to Parliament Square and we won't move. And it was a Monday. And we went there on a Monday and we didn't move. We stayed there.
So you did organise a protest?
I did. But what I did was I I put posts on my channel saying, right, we're going to go to Parliament Square. We're going to sit there. We ain't going to move, right? And then it kind of got caught by everybody else. So all the people with the big channels caught onto it. And so it turned out to be a really successful one. And we did that 3 times midweek in London, where literally, you know, you can see the photos of us in the newspaper. We're all just sat in the road. We're not moving. Fuck the traffic. You know, we're just going to sit here and block London. I'm not going to walk round, you know. And the police had no input in it at all. Like I didn't seek permission to do it. I just said, we're all going to meet in Parliament Square at 1 o'clock and we're not moving. And then I would say about 10,000 people turned up, which was really good. And it blocked Parliament Square. We did it another couple of times. But then I'm like, all right, what have we achieved? Did they end the lockdowns because of us? No. Did they end the injections because of us? No. What are we achieving? Nothing. We get to meet our friends and we get to block some traffic. So the cab drivers who are trying to make a living are pissed off with us. The truck drivers who are trying to make a living are pissed off with us. But the government, they don't even care. They're going to carry on doing what they're going to do. So I literally just stopped. I stopped doing all sorts of protests.
Right. At least you tried, though. I mean, fair play for that. I mean, you actually tried.
Yeah, I mean, it was all I could think to do. It was all I could think to do, you know, and it wasn't my idea. People have said to me, you know, you do it. And I'm like, all right, well, I've got a channel. Let's see if anyone wants to join. And they did. And it was busy, but it was effectiveless. We didn't affect any change at all.
No, I mean, I went to, I think it was in 2021 is when I started going to the protests. It was like April 2021, May 2021, June 2021, July 2021. And then when they started to peter out a bit, and I really had a great time, and I met people, and it was just an amazing experience. But yeah, after the 4th or 5th or 6th, maybe, I was like, yeah, they were starting to peter out and nothing was changing. And I was thinking, like, why? Yeah, I would go home after the protest and tell everybody about it, all my friends. But it wouldn't be in the newspapers. It wouldn't be in the mainstream newspapers.
No,
and then,
no. The only bit that got in the paper was David Icke.
Right.
And the only bit that got on the BBC was David Icke.
Right. And then there was, I remember finding out about someone called Louise Hampton, who was exposed as a police informant, right? And then you know what you're saying? Go on.
I think poor Louise was just a naive young girl, Louise Hampton. You know, and when she got up on the stage, all she did was bitch about her boyfriend for 20 minutes.
More recently, I have become the target of an horrendous smear campaign, a narcissistic smear campaign. Voice recordings of me have fallen into the hands of a small minority of what I call truther trolls. They use their platform to spread hate and cause division within our movement, and this is not acceptable. The recordings were made without my consent when life's conditions were less than favourable, and I was put into situations where I was goaded and set up, and sometimes under the influence of alcohol.
I'm like, why are you bringing your domestic to a bleeding rally about lockdowns? You know, it was very bizarre. She was not a well girl in the head, you know.
Right. But she was used by the police, though, right?
I don't know. She didn't actually ever do anything, did she? Like it was Rose Diamond that was putting the giant stages up. It was Rose Diamond that was creating the marches, you know, and liaising with the police. That was all Rose Diamond. Hampton, she just made, you know, Facebook videos and Instagram videos and became a bit popular because people were looking for people like me, like her, who were saying, don't take the snake oil. But she got completely mental. Like, we're talking about throwing acid in boyfriends' faces, all this kind of weird stuff. You know, some proper weird stuff went on with that girl.
Right, and you talk about Louise Hampton there.
Louise Hampton,
okay.
yeah.
But with
not Rose Diamond, Louise Hampton.
With Fiona Rose,
mad stuff.
Yeah, Fiona Rose Diamond, right? I've seen a couple of people on Facebook saying that she is a shill and stuff, but
Absolutely.
probably because like they've got proper jobs and they're not really content creators. They don't put any proper content out on YouTube about it, so it's like it becomes like this speculation where everyone is like saying, "Oh, she's a shill," but it's only the only evidence I really have to go on it is what someone on Facebook is saying who I
Right.
don't know that well.
Simply isn't. Thank the honourable member. I thank the honourable member for giving way. Is he proposing that the police have the right to demand the access?
We don't want this and we will not comply. You can have this.
Is he proposing that the police have that right to demand access to the digital ID to prove right to work on the spot?
All this debate. The people say no. We will not.
The messenger must remove this person immediately. Don't just stand there.
As soon as I heard that voice echo out across Parliament, I knew who that was, because you have been a pretty much a one-woman warrior on this issue, Fiona. You've been talking about this for 3 or 4 years now, but possibly more, even as long as the start of the pandemic. Why did you feel the need to disrupt proceedings like that today?
I don't think it was so much that I felt the need to do that today. I think going along today was me sort of proving to myself that obviously what we're seeing is just theatre, really, Bev, because I think we can probably all agree, and I think you've spoken about this, that this is above the level of nation. This is something that's being rolled out by the globalists all over. It's happening in Australia, Canada, America, everywhere. And Europe as well, and it's something that obviously they told us would cost 140 to 400 million. Now they've announced 1.8 billion. I just don't believe what I see, and I thought I'd go along to this and just see what it was that they were actually going to say. And whilst it was quite, it's great to see some MPs stand up and say that it was an attack on our civil liberties, and Jeremy Corbyn in particular. But I just don't believe what I'm seeing, Bev. I think the people need to understand now that the only way we're going to affect change here and stop this from happening is if people stand up and say, we are not going to accept it. We will not comply with this. They're rolling it out by stealth, started in 2021 with one login. And I think people just need to be empowered, inspired to be able to say no, because the power is with the people.
And also this kind of circumstantial evidence when she got arrested, there was another time
16 times the girl's been arrested.
Yeah, I mean, what
be in prison by now, wouldn't you?
What would you say would be the sort of number one piece of evidence that shows that she's an actual police undercover?
The giant stage.
Right.
The giant stage. If the government didn't want a giant stage of people in Trafalgar Square saying don't take the vaccine, there wouldn't be a giant stage in Trafalgar Square of people saying don't take the vaccine. And Fiona Rose Diamond gets the giant stage in Trafalgar Square, outside the BBC, Westminster, whenever she wants it. Whereas if you try to, like I tried to do a little soiree in the park where we was going to do a few songs, but I didn't ask police permission. And the old Bill turned up and shut us down. I put it on my page. The old Bill turned up and shut us down. You have to get police permission. You have to get, because I did it. I went through this. This is why I explain to people on my channel. Anyone's allowed to protest. Protests aren't illegal. But if you want to have a speaker, like an electric speaker, not someone talking, like an amplifier, you have to get permission. If you want a stage or anything like that, you've got to write to Westminster Council. You've got to tell them what the protest is about, and then they have a meeting, and it goes up to the government level, and then they decide yes or no. Mm-hmm. Now, I didn't do that. When I said we're just going to Parliament, we're going to sit there, and there's fuck all they could do about that. And then the second time we did it, we hired a little minivan with TV screens on either side, and it didn't even stop. It just was driving around Parliament Square like that, right? With our videos playing of anti-vax videos, and within 20 minutes of arriving in Parliament Square, the van was nicked. The police took it. They impounded it. And I'm like, so that's a tiny little one. And yet Fiona, not just Fiona, Tommy Robinson, all these people can put these giant stages up. That does not happen unless the government want them there.
Mm-hmm. And have you ever, like,
so that to me,
about that?
About what one?
Have you ever come face to face with her and kind of posed these sorts of questions to her?
She doesn't like me anymore. She doesn't like me anymore. I've upset her because of what I've been saying on my videos. Yeah, there's no argument to these propositions because you can do it yourself. Just pick up Google. Say you want to do a protest in London and go on the government.gov website and read what you have to do to get a stage or amplifiers, and you have to jump through hoops and you have to ask Westminster Council, and it goes up to government level. So it doesn't happen unless the government okay it. And then, like, when you get arrested for something, have you ever been arrested?
I mean, I was smoking weed in a nightclub once, and I went to the police thing, but I mean, nothing to do with nothing to do with this stuff. No.
So when you get arrested, they either release you without charge, or they bail you to come back and appear at court. And if while you're on bail, you break the bail conditions, which are usually something like, say it's a protest in London and now you've been nicked for it. So part of the bail conditions will be that you're not allowed to come to London and protest. And if you do, we're going to arrest you on site, right? That'll be part of the bail conditions. So she's been arrested 16 times, she likes to tell people.
Mm-hmm.
She's never gone to prison. She's been, well, she says she's been to court a couple of times and she's done GoFundMes to pay for it. But she's still there. She's still doing it. Like, we would be banned from doing it. We would be banned from going anywhere near a protest in London. But no sooner does the COVID die, and now we've moved on to digital ID, it's the same people. Fiona Rose Diamond, Andrew Bridgen, the same people.
Mm.
I'm like, come on now. These people are being funded in exactly the same way that Antifa and Black Lives Matter are being funded, because the government control every single protest. And they always have done. They always have done. Just Stop Oil, government funded. Extinction Rebellion, government funded. Antifa, government funded. All of them. The anti-digital ID, government funded. Tommy Robinson, government funded. Israeli funded. You can see who's a shill by who's on the stage at London, in London.
Yeah, I mean,
that to me is the biggest giveaway.
Like, I see what you're saying, and like, I guess I was looking for some like real hot piece of evidence, but that there isn't. I guess that there isn't any real hot piece of evidence. It's almost like you have to sort of be going to the protests and seeing all these things happen in real time, and you sort of just put it together that.
Yeah, but you don't even have to do that. You don't even have to do that. Like I said, just go on Google. Go on Google. Tell them you want to do a protest in London and you want to put a giant stage in Trafalgar Square and see what happens.
Right. Okay.
It's simple. I did it myself. Like, this is the first thing I did. Like, because when I started calling it out, when I saw the first stage, the protest walking around was bad enough. Like, the police led the marches. But when I saw the first stage, I'm like, hold on a minute. How do you get a stage in London like that when we had a tiny little van and it got nicked? We obviously had asked permission for our tiny little van. So then I look into it. How'd you get you have to write to Westminster Council. You have to write to the government. You have to write to the police. You have to let the police know what you're doing. And you get a police liaison officer, which she does all the time. She never gets refused. And that's where the question, it answers itself. To me, it answers itself.
Yeah, like, the thing is, there was a Freedom Festival in Leicester this summer just gone, and I was playing there, and it was quite a small festival, but it was full of the Freedom crowd, and Andrew Bridgen and Fiona Rose Diamond were talking there, right? And it was such a small festival, right? And there were times where I was actually in a sort of speaking group with me, my friends, and her, and it's just a very sort of bizarre scenario. It's like if they are shills, and I'm not saying they are or they're not, but you know, if I had to make an opinion, I'd probably say they are. But you know, I'm not going to say 100% because I don't know anything from 100%. But it's like the audacity to like come to a freedom festival and actually be on the other side, but then posing as a freedom fighter. I mean, it takes a lot of audacity, doesn't it?
Well, yeah, but she's been playing that undercover role now for 5 years, 6 years. Yeah, 6 years now, isn't it? And she's been playing that role for a long time. And people in our community, like you said, if you say, "Oh, she's a shield," people jump down your throat. They love her.
Yeah.
They love her. I bet at the festival they was all clapping. They all wanted their photo done with her. You know, they love her because people are sheep in different coloured jumpers. That's it. You know, and they follow Andrew Bridgen. Andrew Bridgen, a Conservative politician for 15 years, right? Which means that he was clearly an high-ranking Freemason, right? Because you're not going to keep being put up by the Conservative Party to run for Parliament if you're not in the club, right? He was a millionaire before he became a politician, which is how he got where he got. He had... This is not news. This is old stuff. You can find this all out on Google or DuckDuckGo. He had at least 3 sex scandals while he was in power, while he was in position as a Tory MP. And
Andrew Bridgen had a sex scandal.
3 sex scandals.
Of him?
3 sex scandals.
Him doing sex stuff.
Well, sexually harassing staff, sexually harassing people in Parliament. There was 3 claims. You could just Google these. I'm not shitting you. Obviously, I've done all this, and it was he weren't charged with any of them, but they was all in the public gaze. So you can find the newspaper reports. You can find, you know, it's all out there. It's all out there.
I very much welcome today's announcement from the Metropolitan Police in relation to an allegation which was recently made against me. The complainant has today confirmed in an interview with the Metropolitan Police that no offence occurred. There is therefore no complaint to answer, and the police will be taking no action against me. From the outset, I said that the allegation was without foundation, demonstrably and provably false, and that I was wholly confident in the outcome of the police investigation would see me exonerated. Naturally, I remain hurt and angry that such a ludicrous, false and unsubstantiated allegation should have been given the attention it has.
And he carries on being an MP, carries on standing for Parliament, gets elected every 4 years. And then he gets 2 jabs. And then he makes posts telling everybody to get the jab. Right, and he has his jab. He's filmed in Mason's Pharmacy of all places, having his jab, telling everyone like you got to do this. You're going to save Granny in the old folks' home. And then all of a sudden, when it doesn't matter anymore, the same with Mahotro. When it doesn't matter anymore, when the government have given up, they're not telling people that they've got to get jabbed anymore, that the NHS staff have all gone back to work. When it doesn't matter anymore, they flip sides. And they say, "Oh, don't get the jab, it could be dangerous." I'm like, hold on, where were you a year ago? Where were you 2 years ago? And now you flip sides when it doesn't matter. You know, when you and I were trying to tell our loved ones not to get the jab, Dr. Mahotro was on the BBC getting paid bunts as their medical expert, telling people they had to get the jab. Their life depended on it. Their granny's life depended on it. And he was the medical expert. So who are our family going to listen to? You and me? Or the medical expert on the BBC, the renowned cardiologist? But when it doesn't matter anymore, when it's all over, when that ship has sailed, Oh no, don't get the jab. I was wrong. I made a mistake. I was wrong. I'm
Yeah,
like, it doesn't matter now, because according to many people in our movement, everyone who was pushing the jab was guilty of war crimes and need to go on trial at Nuremberg 2. Right? That's what everyone was screaming. And then, oh yeah, they do need to go on trial at Nuremberg 2 for war crimes unless they change their mind. And if they change their mind, they're fine. They're on our side. Like, well, you can't change your mind afterwards, can you? Like Joseph Mengele can't come out and say, oh, you know what, so I killed all those people. Didn't mean it. I was wrong. It's a bit late now. The ship has sailed. That's why, whether they're Shills or not, they're already guilty of war crimes.
Yeah, I saw that picture of Andrew Bridgen sort of in a mask and saying "Get your V," and that did make me think. Like, it's like I don't know many people who were pro V and then completely changed their mind to be an anti V in such a activist type way. So there's definitely it's definitely like an odd thing to just suddenly be like, oh no, I'm against this now. But he also supported the Coronavirus Act, which was like a fascist, bringing like restrictions in. Like how, like the thing is, if he can be an MP, I was saying this to someone else. If he can be an MP, then maybe I should just be an MP, because I would have known to say
exactly that.
So how I mean, they can say at the time that like, oh, I got it wrong, but like how stupid are you then if you got it wrong? Do you have any
And now we're going to follow you because you're saying the same as us. You're now saying what we've been saying for 2.5 years, and now we're going to follow you and we're going to hail you as our leader, because you're going to go in Parliament and you're going to have a tete-a-tete with Matt Hancock of all people, and then you're going to do a GoFundMe so you can take Matt Hancock to court, and both you and Matt Hancock are getting rich, and all these idiots are sending you their money. I love it. I love it. That's why, the anti-vax movement proved to me that they're as dumb as the Jabberwockies. And they're sending their money to Andrew Bridgen.
The thing is, right, I don't actually, because I know a lot of people who like Andrew Bridgen and who like Fiona Rose Diamond. I don't think they're sheep. A lot of them are very critical thinkers. I I get your point, right? But it's like, to understand, it's like almost to get to the truth, you have to continually go down rabbit hole and rabbit hole and rabbit hole and rabbit hole, and maybe some people they just haven't gone down that rabbit hole yet. So I don't like see them as sheep, but I just sort of see them as, oh right, you just happen to have got that one wrong again.
People need to follow, like, controlled opposition. I've explained it to people on my channel 1 billion times. Controlled opposition doesn't work if they're saying something that you don't believe. Like, to get you to follow them and to lead you down a certain path, they have to be saying what you believe. That's how it works. So, you're not going to follow someone who says, oh, the COVID was real, the jab saved lives. You're not going to follow them. But once a celebrity, a politician, someone who's on the news is saying it, oh, we finally got someone. We got Russell Brand. Oh, finally we got someone. No, what you've got is a Pied Piper. You've got a millionaire Freemason Pied Piper who is paid to tell you what you want to hear. Same with Katie Hopkins. A lot of them, they're all, you can tell, those who didn't get kicked off of YouTube back in the day are the ones they wanted on YouTube. And then they're still there now. They're still making a living out of YouTube. People follow someone called Dr. Cole or whatever he is, and he was telling people to get the jab, and now he's got 3 million subscribers, and he's telling people not to get the jab. It doesn't matter now. No one's getting the jab now. Who are you saving?
Dr. Campbell.
You're not saving anyone.
Dr. Campbell or something like that, was it?
Campbell, yeah. So, come on now. They're not saving anyone. They should have been out there in 2020 telling people not to do it, using their platforms like we were, getting kicked off of YouTube, getting kicked off of Facebook, getting kicked off of Instagram. Tens of thousands of followers, deleted in one go because we were saying the message that they didn't want to hear. They need to control the narrative. and they've always controlled the narrative. They control both sides of the narrative so that they can keep a tight control on everybody. And now we've got Q-Tars, we've got the Trump supporters, we've got Trust the Plan, we've got Andrew Bridgen and Rose Diamond leading everyone around London. Right, ask yourself, regardless of whether they're shills or not, right? Let's put that one aside, right? Is walking around London gonna stop digital ID?
No.
No is the answer. I'll give you the answer. I'll help you out. No. Walking around London is not going to stop digital ID. Walking around London did not stop COVID. It did not stop the lockdowns. It did not stop them injecting your loved ones. They did it. They did what they want to do when they want to do it. You have to give people hope. You have to give people someone to follow. You have to give people a leader. And then, like you say, you've done psychology. We need to follow someone around London. Look at us. We're saying no. We're saying no. Oh, they're still doing it anyway. Yeah, but we're saying no. But they're doing it. Yeah, but we're saying no. Like, they've been controlling both sides of this from day one.
I was interested in the weird route that the protest took. They came down from Speaker's Corner, through Oxford Street, that sort of thing. When they got down to Trafalgar Square, they're going to Downing Street. They should have just come straight down Whitehall. But instead, they went all the way round, down here, and past Scotland Yard. And I thought, why would they do that? They're worried that maybe if there's a biometrics van saying facial recognition, live facial recognition, that the protesters would attack it, and they don't want to lose an asset. So the safest thing to do would be to walk them straight past Scotland Yard. And I wanted to know whether the route was a decision made by the police and enforced on the organisers, or whether or not the organisers actually chose that. I'm talking about Fiona Diamond. So I thought, I'm not going to make a video about it. I'll just attend the protest. I'll just have a look. And later on, when Fiona's not so busy, I'll ask her, which is exactly what I did. I approached her very peacefully and calmly, and I just wanted to know, why was the protest taken past Scotland Yard? Was it the police's decision or was it her decision? And let me tell you, she got immediately aggressive, extremely aggressive, rude, and a little bit in my face. I had to stand back, and she called me lazy, and she asked me, she said to me, why don't you get off your effing arse and actually do something rather than questioning me? To which I accidentally said, well, I guess that's an FU then.
And as a conspiracy theorist from the very early years, I've watched them, control both sides. They need to control both sides. It's the only way you win. That's what spies were all about. They've had spies in every war. They've had infiltrators in every war. That's how it works. These people ain't stupid. They're not going to say, well, fucking hell, guess what, guys? That mad Mick bloke, he doesn't want us to do it. We better stop. Yeah. Stop the digital ID. Rose Diamond's got all her mates out on Oxford Street. Yeah, they don't want it. It's not going to happen, is it? It's not going to happen.
Yeah, I remember the first time I saw one of your videos was when you did a video about the Jam for Freedom Festival.
Oh, yeah.
And thing is, I went on tour with Jam for Freedom during 2022, and I went on GB News with him.
Did you?
Yeah.
Campbell McLaughlin, tell me about the tour.
Yo, give me a smile for that, Inspector Veg. It's all about truth, it's all about love, positivity. We're on a live and uncensored tour. It's the first ever tour done in history, I believe, that solely focused on censored artists. We've got artists like Inspector Veg, Tommy Coyle, Ramis, special guests like My Bad Sister, all coming through. All these artists have been censored off the internet. They've had their tracks removed after getting hundreds of thousands of views. They're not signed, they're totally independent, speaking the truth. You're never going to be able to get away from it. And that's why we're bringing it to the people. 12 dates that we're playing around England and Wales.
Yeah, but the thing is...
Did you get your money?
My money? Oh, right. Why, did you see the video?
No.
Did you see that video?
No, I might have seen it, but That was one of the things everyone was complaining. He doesn't pay anybody.
Yeah, that was it.
I know other people that would have been with you at that time who were touring with him who said he just kept the money for himself. I wasn't there. I was just at the festival.
Well, yeah, basically we did like a tour in 2022, and it was just a very strange experience because it was just like I just got the vibe that he just wanted to rip us all off, and I started to think like you know when you hang around with someone for a while, you're like why are you doing this? It's like if you want to make money, just sell some stuff on eBay. Like why are you? We're not even making much money. And then when we got on GB News, I was like, how do you get us on GB News? So I started to actually think that Campbell was controlled in some way too. And then when I saw that festival and what happened at it, I was like, how on earth did he put on a festival after that tour was such a failure? But you've managed to put on a huge festival. That was my personal opinion, was that he was controlled in some way, but like, I can't prove it either. It's like you just start to get this vibe of people that like your behavior is just so strange for like a 27-year-old. Like how are you doing? How are you doing all this? Can you see this second video? This second screen now?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
so he used to work, or he's got on LinkedIn. He was a quality control analyst at RSVP Media Response, right? A Media Response is a company that employs professional actors, right? So his background is in media; it's not in activism. And then if you look at this here, it says, Jam for Freedom, supporting the People's Paper. I remember interning at Sky and work experience at ITV when I was a teenager and thinking, I don't want to be a tool of your establishment. But was your opinion was that he was just a scammer, but not actually a controlled guy?
Yeah, my opinion was that he was scamming people. You know, that I met people that were with you on that tour. I know a few people that were with you, and they said that they didn't get paid. And then we did the festival, and no one got paid. Security didn't get paid. Everyone's complaining, and the festival was a washout. Obviously, you saw it was a complete washout. Whether that was his fault or not, who can say? But then I agreed to play the next festival as well. I said I'd do it. Me and my band, Mad Mix and the Resistance. And then, literally 2 weeks before the festival, 2 or 3 weeks before the festival, he cancelled us. And then I found out that he had cancelled everybody. We were meant to be playing the Thursday. It turned out that he had cancelled everybody on the Thursday. And the reason he used for cancelling me was because I had threatened to kill Andrew Bridgen. Now, I hadn't threatened to kill Andrew Bridgen. What I had said in my video was, if you are claiming that everyone who was pushing the jab needs to be executed, like through Nuremberg trials, then Andrew Bridgen and Malhotra have to be in that party. They are defendants. They're not. They don't get to say, "Oh, we've changed our mind." That's what I said. He changed it that I was saying that we've got to hang Andrew Bridgen, and I'm like, no, because I know there's not going to be Nuremberg 2. I know it was all pony and crap. None of that was going to happen. But I said, if you believe that these people have done crimes against humanity, then Andrew Bridgen and Dr. Malhotra do not get off because they say they've changed their mind. They are still guilty. Anyway, so he kicked me off the festival, me and my band off the festival. And then I found out by talking to other people that he had kicked other people off. This is the next festival, the next year. He had kicked other people off on the Thursday. So there was no Thursday acts. He had kicked all of them off. And so he was just kicking everyone off because he wasn't going to pay for Thursday. He hadn't sold enough tickets and he wasn't going to pay anyone for Thursday. But then telling people publicly that me and my band got kicked off because I'm threatening violence on people. I'm like, no, I'm not. I've never threatened violence on anybody. So obviously I made a video then about that, calling him out on that, like I do. And since then, me and him haven't spoken.
But do you think that's his own personal opinion, or do you think someone is like giving him directions to do that?
Oh, it's his own opinion. He knew he weren't making any money. He knew he hadn't sold any tickets for the, very few tickets for the festival. So he had to cut back. He had to get bands off. And instead of just saying to bands, "Oh, I can't afford to have you there," he just made up all nonsense to take bands off. And then saying that I was threatening violence and I'm not the sort of character that he wants at his festival. I'm like, what a load of rubbish. I've played every festival. Me and my band have been at every festival. And it's nothing to do with, the fact that I don't agree with Andrew Bridgen and Fiona Rose Diamond and Dr. Mahotro and all these people.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I think Campbell's a complete charlatan. I don't think he works for the government. I think he's just in it for the money.
Interesting. Okay, I think I might be alone in that then.
What I've found is that people that make music, like you make music, I make music. Well, Martin makes my music, but I perform it. Martin and I, we do it for love. My band, we play for petrol money. That's all we ever did. We only ever paid for petrol money to get to the festivals. We never charged anything. We never made any money. And Campbell, being a musician and someone who wants to be paid for being a musician, he's like, I'm a musician and I deserve to get paid, which is kind of right. Fair enough, right? If you're a drummer, go and join a band and then go and play gigs and get paid. But what he did is he decided to rip everyone else in the movement off. He didn't make enough money. He oversold himself. He paid people like Gareth Ike stupid amounts of money to turn up. He was going to put on the best festival in the world. He paid a lot of big names a lot of money, and then all the little names he didn't pay. The security didn't get paid. The toilet cleaners didn't get paid. He only got enough to pay his family and the big money, the big names.
I thought, because of the video I saw about that first festival, it was someone was saying that when they got there was no attendee, there was no sort of stewards or anything. There was no one looking after the car park. There was no one looking after. There was just a load of tents, and that was it.
Yeah, and this is what happened because he scrimped on stewards and security and stuff. People that were there, and fair play to them, they were phoning their mates who couldn't afford 150 quid a ticket or 200 quid a ticket. They're like, yeah, come down. There's no security. You can just walk in. Come down. And then loads of other people were coming who had never paid, and they're rocking up, they're setting up their tents, and they were getting in for free, because he didn't have the armbands, the security, nothing like that.
Oh dear. The other thing, did you ever see that video of the guy? I think he's called Ash Dutty Monkey, and he was giving a sign to a policeman, and it was caught on camera. Do you ever see that video?
I think I might have heard it. It rings familiar. I can't think what it was, but it rings familiar.
That thing is because it's been like this finding out about the Shills has been a big rabbit hole for me. And when I saw that video, it was like this guy that was basically an activist, and then there was a video of him signaling to the police, going like that or something like that. And I might edit into this video actually. But
this is when it starts to get strange, in my eyes. Little finger point in the air, and then we'll run it back a little bit, see if you can see this. There's a little smirk on his face. A little. I've blown it up and I've gone frame by frame. There is a video on my Telegram that is blown up. You can see from one frame to the next. There's a micro movement whereby he turned. You can see the smile. Now, what I want you to do now is pay attention to the police officer, okay? Because I run the video back earlier, and I've got pictures that will show that the police officer, normal facial expression to when he's smiling, so I can then see the crow lines within his eyes and then his tight cheeks. So it shows me smiling to me that he knows that he's just acknowledged, you know what I mean? And you notice the little guy in the white T-shirt in front of the police officer is at the moment, he's got his face in. Notice his facial expression when he turns around and looks at the copper, because he knows what's going on and he's just put two and two together and he's thinking, what the actual fuck? So, you know, we just run it through a little bit more. There you go. There's the tight cheeks of the police officer there. There's his smile lines. Smile lines. Yeah? Because he's grinning. Because he's grinning. And that bloke there in front of him is clocked it.
After I saw that video, I actually watched... have you ever seen Tyrant Finder on YouTube?
Yeah. Tyrant Finder's the one who went for me for wearing an orange T-shirt.
Right. Okay, so obviously he's not always right, but I watched like Tyrant Finder's like video about the sort of history of undercover police. It was really interesting because this guy was talking about how for all these different protest movements, there was all these different people and they were all exposed as being undercover.
So they funded Dixon's plan straight from the Treasury, and the Special Demonstration Squad was formed. They were known to some as the Harries, yeah? And it was a new concept of policing, yeah? Police officers became activists, yeah? They infiltrated groups, often for years on end, changed their appearance. In that era, it went growing your hair very long, had false ID documents, found flats or bedsits, which were spartanly furnished, jobs with flexible working hours or travel, such as delivery drivers or labourers. And they nearly always had a van or another vehicle, yeah, to drive around in. The Met now says there were 116 undercover officers in the SDS from 1968 to 2008, and over 400 groups were spied on. Yeah? Many agents used dead children's identities to establish what they called their legend. This meant if someone searched birth records, a certificate would be found. Yeah? Most had intimate relationships with their targets, which was what they called the people they spied on. Initially, the SDS infiltrated the far left and the anti-apartheid movement, groups like that. But with the rise of animal rights, from the 80s onwards, that became a target. The first known SDS agent was Mike Chitty, who joins South London Animal Movement from 1983, yeah? A group which campaigned, like many did, you know, prevents vivisection, further meat trade. But Chitty seemed to enjoy the social life of the group more than the campaigning. And although he fed back information, he was in what the SDS called a shallow paddler, yeah? Didn't get deeply involved, and especially deeply involved in unlawful activities. What's interesting about him, though, is that after his deployment ended in '87, he sporadically returned to socialise with people he'd known. He couldn't seem to get it out of his system. And later on in the 90s, it led to a sort of mental collapse. Yeah. Now, our next person is cut from a very different cloth. Someone you might have heard of, Bob Lambert. Yeah. This was regarded in special branch circles as the legendary tour of duty. He was outgoing, charismatic, big hair, big smile, the quintessential spy cop. And for those of us who knew him, he was like unforgettable person. Although nowadays it's for all the wrong reasons, of course.
Fascinating, isn't it? I mean, even though we'll never really know. I find it fascinating.
Yeah, which is why I've completely, I've pulled away from the whole movement. My missus said to me, the girl I'm with now, when I told her that I was doing this podcast with you, she's like, I thought you'd given up all that, Mick. I'm like, well, yeah, but if someone wants me to give my opinion, I'll give my opinion. I'm more than happy to give my opinion, and I don't care who I upset. Really, I'm not about winning friends and influencing people. I'm about speaking my truth, and my truth is I can't get a stage in London unless I write to Westminster Council and ask them permission, and I know that to be a fact because I tried.
So hang on a sec. We're almost through the whole hour now.
Oh wow.
But yeah, this has been really interesting. I mean, I think it's right. I used to do all these like podcasts all the time to try and wake people up, and I'm a bit like you now. I'm like, nothing worked. It was worth doing though, because it got me learning how to make videos and stuff, and maybe a few people found it interesting. But I'm still going to do these about once a month because it's just like a hobby, and I get to talk to people.
Yeah, exactly. I talk every day. Like I quit for 3 weeks, and then I came back. I was like, oh, I'm going to stop doing my daily vlog, and I stopped for 3 weeks, and then I came back. I just couldn't keep away, So I still bitch every day over on Telegram. 10-minute video. Of recent, some of them have been lasting like 20 minutes of me bitching because I've always got something to bitch about.
Yeah.
This week I was bitching about the invasion of Venezuela.
Right.
Because all these Q-tars, they do love old Donald Trump, and now he's invaded. Forget the war on terror. We're not doing the war on terror anymore. That's so 2020. This is the war on drugs. We're doing the war on drugs, and if you've got drugs in your country, we're gonna come and invade it, and we're gonna take your president or prime minister. We're gonna put him in prison, and we're gonna put our own guy in power. Like, all right, Donald, you crack on. People can't see the wood for the trees.
Yeah, I know what you mean. That they want a hero.
Yeah.
So just to finish off with, I wrote it, like over the next 5 years, like you're going to be doing your music and doing your podcast still, but like how are you going to live over the next 5 years? Do you think the right way to live is to go off grid, or is it just to sort of
don't go off grid. Don't do it. Obviously, like everyone else, I looked into it. It takes 30 days to grow a baby lettuce. So if you want to live on baby lettuces once a month, you're all right. Otherwise, you got to wait for your crops to grow. Like the farm I live here on that they've got chickens, they've got goats, they've got everything. They're like us. They're part of our community.
Whereabouts are you living in the UK?
East Sussex.
East Sussex.
Yeah. Not too far from Eastbourne.
Okay.
On the south coast.
Nice and warm.
Yeah. Lovely down here. The snow is. Anyway, I digress. Yeah, we've got chickens, we've got goats, we got sheep, we got ducks. I live on eggs. Literally, I live on eggs. But we can't live off grid. Like the people whose land it is, they can't live off grid. They still need to be part of the world. And people that think they're going to live off grid and live off of hunting squirrels with crossbows are delusional. What's going to happen? And I've been saying this to everyone for years. All these end of the world prophecies, they didn't happen. The lockdown ended. It was always going to. The power cuts never happened. They never put us in prison camps. The UN army that they're allegedly putting in hotels never shot us all. The 5G towers haven't killed us all. The world is going to continue. The world is going to continue exactly the same as it does, and exactly the same as it has done forever. World War II came, it ended, the world carried on. World War I, exactly the same. The world carries on. COVID's come, COVID's gone. digital IDs coming. It always was. It always was. Walking around London ain't going to stop it. The more computer technology advances, the more control they've got. It's that simple. It's going to carry on. We're still going to be able to shop at Asda's. We're still going to be able to buy our food. We're still going to have the NHS. World will carry on. So don't move into the country just yet.
Yeah, I mean, during 2021, I actually bought all this food because you know when you're like getting all the fear porn and stuff, you think, oh, there's going to be food shortages, there's going to be 5G killing everyone, vaccines, and like I like bought loads of food and then I had to throw away all this food. So it was like, and then there was also a long time where I couldn't even concentrate on like focusing on the computer on focus work because I was like, how can I focus when everyone's going to die any second? But then now I'm slowly got to this point where I'm like, actually, nothing really changed, did it? Maybe I should have just got on with my life the whole time.
Yeah, I made a lot of videos back in the day. People were talking about the prison camps. I said, look, you know, the prisons in this country, in the cities, they're in properties that you could knock down and build flats. They're in old buildings. They're making big prisons for prisoners, not for you. There's like at least 10 million anti-vaxxers. There's not enough prisons. There's only 83,000 prisoners in the country. There's not enough prisons for you. So don't worry about it. They're not going to come and take your children. They're not going to hold you down and inject you. The 5G towers ain't going to kill you. Yes, they're going to follow your every move, but you've been carrying a mobile phone for 15 years. So why are you bitching now? You're not going to leave your mobile phone at home or flush it down the toilet. What they're going to do is they're going to put everyone's information that is on fragmented databases, NHS database, criminal database, financial database, and they're going to put it all on one database. And the government are going to have access to it. So what? The government have got access. Don't take any injections into your body. Don't take any tattoos or microchips onto your skin. Apart from that, what the hell are you going to do? You're going to wear a mask all the time so facial recognition doesn't catch you when you walk into Asda. Of course it does. You know, the world ain't going to end.
So just enjoy life. The last 20, 30 years of our lives, just enjoy the most you can.
Yeah. And to be fair, I've had a blast. You know, I was never going to be a singer in a band. I can't sing for heaven's sake, you know what I mean? I've had a chart hit. I can't even sing. So, you know, and now I've got an Ian Jury tribute band. You know, I'm living the life.
Brilliant, mate. Well, hopefully then I'll see you at some gig or festival or something this year or some point.
We're going to be at Sounds Beautiful. We're playing at Sounds Beautiful. It's the only festival we're doing this year.
Okay, maybe I might go to that. I'm not sure because I work
one.
as a musician on weekends. You see, so if I go to a festival, I need to turn down paid work. Yeah.
You don't want to be doing that. What do you play?
I'm like a pub singer. I play guitar and sing.
Oh, cool. I've seen some of your videos on YouTube. Some of your conspiracy-minded videos. You know, cool, I like them. I like them.
All right. Well,
maybe we've got a collaboration going on.
Yeah, maybe, yeah. So yeah, do you want to leave it there? We've done an hour now.
Yeah. It's been a pleasure.
Brilliant, mate. Yeah, it was great getting to know you, and I'll post this tomorrow, and maybe I'll put a few clips of the stuff we were talking about, just little clips and like splice it in.
Okay, lovely jubbly. Send me over the link.
Okay,
so I
mate.
can put it on my channel.
All right. Well, thanks a lot, Mick.
Been an absolute pleasure. Cheers.
Okay. See you later, mate.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.